Yeah, and sorry for the photo finish there.
Introducing everyone this morning. Welcome for being here. We have Joshua Cohen with Amylyx, and you will soon be joined by Justin Klee. They are co-CEOs and co-founders of Amylyx. Directly after this presentation, you will have a lunch break that will go from 12:05 to 12:45. Please be sure to visit our expo booths and learning lab. Josh, it's all yours.
Hi, thank you so much, and great to be here today, and great to talk to everyone. So maybe starting off, why is Amylyx focused on ALS? Well, we've gotten to meet a number of different people with ALS, families, caregivers, many of the clinicians, working on the disease as well. And the truth is that this is a disease with a really urgent need. This is a quote from Sandy, who's advised us and inspired us. Kind of stating just the level of urgency that exists in ALS, given the rapidity of the disease, and that's something we try to internalize every single day, as we're working to fight this disease. So Amylyx started in 2013. Co-founded by Justin and myself in a college dorm room. And, our goal, which, we're trying to take steps towards every day, is to one day end these diseases, to one day cure these diseases. And we think we'll get there, step by step. So just, disclaimer, PB Tersa, which is our, also known as Amylyx 35, has not at this point been, approved or determined to be safe and effective by health authorities yet. So going through a little bit of the story of Amylyx and, kind of how we got here and also, the people who made this possible. So February of 2013, Justin and I came up with this idea for a combination therapy that focused on the pathways whereby neurons die. And the idea was that in targeting that pathway, you might be able to slow neurodegeneration. However, as two young college students, nobody really wanted to take that idea particularly seriously. We didn't have any money. We didn't have any lab. And so it really wasn't until, Rudy Tanzi, the kind of an Alzheimer's researcher at Mass General, kind of started meeting with us and advising us that we started getting a little bit of traction. And then in April of 2015, we met Dr. Merit Sokovich, the chief of neurology at Mass General, and also just an incredible person in the ALS field. And Merit really encouraged us to go full force against ALS and, introduced us to a number of people, including Dr. Sabrina Paganoni, who we then would go on to file a grant together with to the ALS Association and ALS Finding a Cure. And I can't say how much, as a small company, just trying to, kind of make some headway and get started, how much the grant that we received from the ALS Association helped in terms of kind of kicking us off and getting us, kind of that much needed credibility to be able to keep going forward. So I'll move quickly through the rest. We started the Center trial in July of 2017. And as probably most people have seen, we published the results in the New England Journal of Medicine and Muscle and Nerve. And now we're, hopefully, moving this drug forward to many more patients by, filing with regulatory bodies. So we filed for approval in Canada. We'll be filing for approval with the United States shortly, as well as with Europe. So in terms of the kind of mechanisms here, one thing we know about ALS is that the pathophysiology is very complex. There are many, many different pathways that different labs have pointed to as potentially being important in these diseases. However, all of these pathways converge on neurons degenerating and dying. And we believe that in particular, the kind of choke point for the degeneration and death of the neuron occurs at the mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum. And that's why we designed two drugs targeting mitochondrial and endoplasmic reticulum pathways to address this disease. So here's going through some of these pathways in a little bit more detail. It's been shown that things like glutamate excitotoxicity That's a kind of a neurotransmitter that seems to go awry in ALS. Various genetic pathways, various kind of trafficking pathways where the cell is kind of shipping different cargoes from place to place go awry. And all these pathways, again, resulting, faulty mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum, which lead to cell death. We developed this drug, AMX35, which is a combination of two agents, one designed to target the mitochondria and one designed to target the endoplasmic reticulum. And, what we ultimately wanted to see was whether this drug, wouldn't help, mice or cells, but rather help people. And so we designed the Centaur trial in close collaboration with Dr. Paganoni and Dr. Sokovich at Mass General and the NEALS Consortium. And in this study, 137 people with ALS were randomized to either AMX35 or placebo for 24 weeks. And then after those 24 weeks, if they wanted to, everyone could go on to active drug in an open label extension. And the goals were to see if the drug was safe and also to see if the drug had an impact on disease progression. So we've published that data both in the New England Journal of Medicine and Muscle and Nerve. I won't go into too much detail on that right now. But definitely do want to share an update that we have been thrilled about. That we, as I said earlier, we've filed for approval in Canada. And the next step when you file for approval with a regulatory body is they kind of give an initial screen, and then we'll accept the application for review. So we now have both, filed and been accepted for review by Health Canada. And with the US FDA, we're planning to file in the coming months. Additionally, we want to keep learning more about AMX35. We want to know everything we possibly can about this drug, especially if it's able to, to help people with ALS. And so we're also conducting a large multicenter trial across many countries, an international trial and global collaboration. And we're hoping that trial is going to start in the coming weeks. The design for that study is very similar to Centaur in a way. Patients will be randomized to drug or placebo, and we will endeavor at the end of the study to make sure that people who complete the study will also have access to therapy. The study will assess disease progression similar to Centaur by looking at the change in people's function and survival over approximately a year. So Phoenix will start enrolling very, very soon, and we're excited about the new things we'll learn about this drug and ALS from that trial. So probably the most important message I really want to share with everybody today is everything we do at Amylyx is with a sense of urgency. Amylyx is very much a company that works nights and weekends, trying to push the ball forward even a little bit quicker. We know that every day matters for people with ALS. Probably the main focus is right now where we need to get that application into the FDA. We're working very, very hard to do that. And we really want to get the Phoenix trial up and running. And we're working quite hard to do that as well. And then the last thing I'll say is, we hope that this is only just the beginning for Amylyx and, kind of our partnership with the community. There's so much we want to work on in ALS. We hope that this drug is just kind of the first stepping stone or milestone. And that, beyond that, we can continue to, partner with patients, families, caregivers, and everybody in the community, to continue improving what life is like for people with this disease. So thank you so much for having us today. And I'm happy to take any questions as well. I'm looking in the question thing right now. Don't really see any questions. Oh, question, and I see Justin's joined as well. So maybe I can share the questions, and Justin, if you'd like to answer. So first question from Judy Schmelzer is, how do you apply for compassionate use?
Hi, so that's a great question. So we're working on an expanded access program right now. So I think there are three things that we're focused on in the US. One is to submit the new drug application. Two is to start the Phoenix trial, the phase 3 trial, as Josh outlined, which will help give access before the drug is approved. But of course, there are inclusion criteria for the trial, and so not everyone will necessarily qualify for the Phoenix trial. So that's where access comes in. Now, that being said, we have to be very careful because it can't interrupt the phase 3 trial either. But we're working with groups at the ALS Association, ALS, the Neal Center, and others to make sure that we can do that access program. So we'll keep everyone updated on that. We're working really hard on it. And as soon as we have more information, we'll be sure to let everyone know.
Thanks, Justin. And I'm not seeing any other questions. Certainly, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. Well, if there are no other questions, I guess we can let everybody get lunch a little bit early. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you to the ALS Association for hosting us, as well as thank you everybody who joined to listen. We'll keep working hard every day and hope to give the community more updates soon.
And I'll add too that yes, exactly. We'd be happy to answer further questions. We have a virtual booth. So if you have further questions on the Phoenix trial, on our further plans, please stop by and we'd be happy to talk with you more. And thank you all very much for your time, and thank you, ALS Association, for hosting us.
Thank you.